Welcome to this episode of The Rumble. My guest has been on my show earlier, and I always kept it in my mind that I need to call him again because he deals with a part of our life, you could say, which is absolutely important. You can't emphasize how important it is. So welcome to the show, Shyam Sekhar, right? Stock market analyst, basically? Or is that just part of your functions?
It's part of my work. I also do a lot of writing and I speak on the
I know you
economy.
blog a lot, you send newsletters, etc. Okay, let me jump straight into this. We are reading, now this is not politically based in the sense that I don't give a damn, as I want to call it, use some more stronger language. I don't give a rat's ass for this government, this party, that party, nothing. I don't care who's in charge. Why is it that in India, till today, after 60 odd years, we still don't know where the farmer stands in this whole life of ours, of our country? Where is the farmer standing? Is he good wicket or is he a sticky wicket?
There are good parts and there are bad parts.
Okay, let's hear the bad parts first.
The bad part is that a lot of farmers have been increasingly suffering because of failed irrigation systems.
Okay.
And crop failure has to do with availability of water.
So 90% of the problems you think will be solved if we get the water thing right?
If you get water right, farmers will get a good part of the things corrected. But there are more important things waiting.
Okay.
You have seed, which is an area of concern.
Yes.
You need to have productive seed and technology.
But centuries, our Indian farmers have been keeping away part of their harvest for seed purposes and the rest for consumption. So what has suddenly happened today that we have to have genetically modified seeds and not use our natural?
I think this glorification of the old seed
Okay.
is a bit overdone.
All right.
See, you take, for instance, Basmati. I'll just take one item so that you can understand.
Okay.
Basmati had a very low production per ton. And it was a traditional seed of ours.
Okay.
It's something that we took great pride in saying.
Yeah.
Okay. But in the last decade, an Indian university in Punjab has modified this seed to create two varieties.
All right.
Right? The modification of this seed has led to productivity gains of close to 50% the first time and 70% the second time.
Okay.
Shortening of the crop, better resistance to pest.
And
it has actually given our Basmati a new lease of life because farmers were moving away from Basmati.
Okay.
In another instance, which is not liked by many, the launch of BT in cotton has revolutionized cotton farming, making us the world's largest producer of cotton. And it has also paved the way for the Indian cotton industry to get greater volume reliably from the farmer at modest prices at which the farmer also makes money. If your seed is not good, then the output is lower and the farmer is not able to find viability if the volumes are low. Now this has been completely transformed by BT.
This is our technicians or again international?
In the case of Basmati, it is indigenous.
Okay.
So we accepted it. In the case of BT cotton, it comes from the West and it comes through licensing arrangements carried by several Indian companies. That is how the seed has proliferated.
Okay, so if as long as they're licensing to us, we are not breaking the law in any way. We have to matter of just paying for it and use it. Is there anything beyond that?
No, licensing has worked wonders actually. It is unfortunate that people have not laid enough emphasis on the role of licensing in bringing better technology of seeds. Because if a Western company comes and does the same business in India, somehow we have this phobic mindset.
Yeah, the fear that they're going to starve us to death.
Whereas Indian companies have successfully done this, and it includes cooperatives also.
So when they say that some other company has discovered or invented, how do you use the word? Are they inventing new seeds or discovering new seeds?
The seed is...
Or modifying it?
Yeah, basically it is evolutionary. Technology
So they're
evolves.
doing in laboratory research
That's
to
right.
improve its
Correct.
disease resistance, this, that, and increase productivity.
It's
etc.
modification of a strain.
Okay. So
And then merging of different strains. That is how it's created.
So for some reason they feel that they can shut off the tap of seeds in our country if they don't supply us the seeds. Are we all going to die? What is the fear against seeds coming in?
I think this shutting off thing, they are not selling you defense secrets. A company wants more markets.
Okay.
It wants consistency of business. It wants people to buy its products repeatedly.
Yeah.
Whatever business you are.
Okay.
Why would you imagine that a company making seeds would have any other imperatives? I think this shows a lack of understanding of business and capitalism and an unwillingness to learn. Criticism basically comes from
At some
both.
point, do they feel it's fear that we could be facing starvation if we don't get the seeds? What exactly are seeds traveling from the United States to India by ship and we store it and give it?
No,
Or
it's
is it
produced in India.
That's it?
Entire BT seeds are produced in India. The technology, maybe a basic strain or whatever starting point would have been here. It has been proliferated here.
Okay.
You take the case of Basmati. It was developed by university and it was commercially exploited by an individual Indian company
Okay.
which bought the produce from the farmer. Now, the same thing when a Pepsi tried in potatoes,
Yeah.
it was fiercely resisted because it was Pepsi. The point is, an Indian company does it, we have accepted it. It has just gone below the radar. So,
Okay.
the fact is the model is right. We have biases against the entities. Now, in a distressed sector where you need rapid transformation and change,
can't afford to have
such
these
biases are very costly. Society is paying for it and the farmers are paying for it, and everybody is shedding crocodile tears in the name of the farmer.
I know, I can't understand this nonsense going on, beating their chest, saying the poor farmer, and stubbornly refusing to do anything for his benefit, actually.
Yes, he doesn't have a choice.
Okay.
You enforce the choice. For instance, you take all the people who have opposed genetic modified crops.
Okay.
They are not farmers.
Who
They are
are they?
activists
Okay.
who are paid by Western agencies.
All right. To what? To block?
Correct.
Oh, how do they gain from it?
See, around the world, the companies which modify have opponents. Please understand that.
Okay.
They have opponents. Just like you have an opponent to a strong entity. These opponents, it's a business.
Listen, we're all getting into some almost looks like espionage, secret service kind of thing. But there is something to what he's saying, so we'll try and find out what that is all about. So this seed, coming back to seed, there is. I mean, if I am so ignorant about it, not to say I'm a super brain, but if I am, I can imagine how much other people are also confused about the seed thing. So first thing you tell me that these seeds are not an imported thing. These are just seeds of our own crops that have been modified by some method which arrived at by these foreign companies and then made in India and sold to our farmer.
No. You have both. You have Indian companies modifying strains.
Yeah.
You have genetic modified seeds like BT which comes from outside. You have only cotton that has been allowed so far. If you take the next one has not come in, we have not tested
So we
it.
have BT made by Indian companies also, and you have BT.
See, BT is also produced by Indian companies.
Okay.
The technology is provided by a foreign company.
All right. So and then we are also making it.
We are the ones who make it. They don't produce
There's
it. They are
nobody
only
else
given
making it.
licensing, technology and licensing. That's all.
Okay.
Then there are crops where we have, it's our technology and there's no licensing fee.
Okay.
The licensing fee tends to add to the cost of the seed, which
All
is
right.
what people are objecting.
So in all these years that we were doing, how does a farmer survive farming? He has a crop, he has a harvest, which is his entire wheat or whatever, or cotton, and he keeps part of it aside for the next season, I presume, as seeds, and the rest he sells. So it's been self-generated seeds. Now, why have we dropped that and now going to purchase seeds from the market?
See, this talk about seed, for instance, you take paddy seed.
Okay.
He needs hardly a few kilos of seed per acre.
Oh, why are they making
So
such a
this
hoo-ha
big
about
fuss,
it?
it's really it's crazy.
It's
So-
a smokescreen just to...
No, there were times when this was a habit, it's a tradition, where
Yes.
families thought that the seed was their wealth.
Yes.
But that was a belief that was handed down, right? Today, cost of seed is not so high, given that your farm practices have improved, you are able to actually make do with very little investment in seed.
Okay.
In relation to seed, your cost of transplantation and your cost of de-weeding which is keeping your fields clean,
Yeah.
is multifold higher. Your labor costs are significantly higher. So your fussing about the seed is misplaced.
So is there a percentage that we can say that the whole cost of seed would probably signify 10% of the entire operation?
That's all.
So all this is needless hoo-ha.
Yeah, labor is the major cost in farming today.
Okay.
That's the worst kept secret of farming.
Okay. So is that what's driving our farmers to suicide, that he can't pay his labor bill?
No, the point is that his costs are fixed. His income is variable, because if you don't have proper water at the right time, and you should not have unseasonal rains.
Okay.
And you should not have pest attack.
All
so
right.
the variables have got added, and one or the other seems to be affecting the farmer. That's one thing.
Every harvest, something or the other is
Something
coming.
or the other is happening because of climatic changes and so many other things.
Yeah.
And then there is the issue of land getting continuously subdivided by generational transfer. Now, if a person has 3 children and then he has 3 children, finally it becomes 9 subdivisions. So economies of scale keep on going down in India.
Okay.
If you look, so you have these small landholders who have no way.
Will never be viable.
Yes, they will never be viable. That's why they are given up and they are getting urbanized. Urbanization is a phenomenon that, in my view, is connected to the fragmentation of land continually. You should have a system in which generation to generation the land is not divided. So, which means the asset devolvement has to be better.
So is it only the amount of labor? Since you said labor is the reason why we are failing. This number of children being born to farmers, is it because of their fear that they will not have labor to work on?
No, farmers don't have too many children. That's not what I mean. What I mean to say is...
No, but is it true that they're having a lot of children, therefore they're dividing and dividing?
No. The generic division of land itself is hurting. Because 3 generations you will find that land has got fragmented too much.
Okay. No, but they're having those children in the first place to work in their own fields. Is that what it is for?
It's like anybody else. You have children for jobs.
Nothing else. Yeah, because they always say, I don't have kids to work on my
children,
fields.
First of all, let me tell you one thing. The children of farmers today don't work on the fields.
They're also hiring...
The farmers discourage them to work. If a farmer's son takes to farming, the worst kept secret of rural India is that he will not find a bride.
Okay.
If you are in farming, you cannot get a bride. So you have to get urbanized and find some job in the city.
How did they manage until
They
now?
manage by paying and getting outsiders. In the old system, family people used to work. It was division of labor. So the cost of farming was lower. Today, all farmers bring people from outside.
Okay.
And then there was another system which has been destroyed in the last 10 years. For instance, if there are 10 farming families, they will work in each other's fields.
Yes.
By way of exchange of labor.
Yes.
NREGA has destroyed that.
Oh, that's an unforeseen side effect of...
Because the persons who devised this scheme did not understand how the farm markets worked. So 2 families will work in the fields of others and others will work in the fields of the 2 families. So people keep on working and then they take turns to ensure that all the crops are serviced by the same set of people.
Okay.
Because government came in as an employer and somebody had the obligation of going and working there. Because if you don't go there, then you lose those benefits.
Yes.
So people refused to work in, they broke this system down to go and stand and deepen the same canals.
All right, folks, more bad news. We intend to do things well. NREGA is supposed to give people money, but that inadvertently has destroyed an existing good system where farmers worked in each other's farm. Find out, is it really good or bad, this rural employment guarantee system? So what is another side effect of rural employment guarantee?
See, this NREGA scheme that was brought about 10 years back.
Yeah.
It did 2 things. One is it unified wage markets, which is very dangerous.
Okay.
Because the whole country you created a wage structure where local wage markets were destroyed. Because people who otherwise went to do certain types of jobs in the season would go to NREGA if it was offered as an alternative.
Okay.
The second thing it did was that it created a productivity paradigm, a barometer, which was bad for farming. For simple reason that NREGA pays a specific sum of money for doing very little work.
Or regardless of whether you worked or not.
Correct. For doing very little output.
Okay.
Then the same...
Why is that? There's nobody measuring it?
Because the system has not measured what came out of NREGA.
Okay.
What came out of NREGA was that you spent 25,000 to 30,000 crores every year. And that money got transferred from the government in the hands of the rural poor.
Okay.
Or the urban poor also.
Okay.
So what happened was, because of NREGA, people started establishing that in NREGA, if I go and work, I need to just spend half a day's time, do very little work,
just scratch
and I am
and
paid so much money. Whereas you are asking me to do work from 8 in the morning till 4 in the evening and do so much of productivity, your wage should be way higher than the NREGA wage. So it created a certain wage inflation which impacted...
it made them unviable to employ these fellows.
The amount of wage inflation faced by farmers is unprecedented in the last 10 years.
Okay.
Because on the one side, you have destroyed his labor sharing system.
Which existed at one time.
On the other side, you have thrown wage inflation at him. And after 10 years, you come and say that the farmer, you come and cry for him. It's ridiculous.
So there's a bit of crocodile tears being shed.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because the destruction of farming was carried out in the last 10 years.
Okay.
And the 11th year happens to be a year of drought and unseasonal rains.
That'll be a double,
It is
triple
complete
whammy.
serendipity. If you take the current government, it was lucky to have low oil prices.
Yes.
And very unlucky to have rains at the wrong time and not having rains at the right time.
Okay.
So it is a mixed bag. None of the consequences...
But these NREGA works that being done by these farmers, they are obviously not farming work at all, because
they deepen the same canals. For instance, I have farmland. Next to my farm, there is a short canal of 75 meters.
Okay.
Beyond which land is higher, so water cannot flow through.
Okay.
So in this canal, probably rainwater gets stored, maybe 1 or 2 families fish. That's all is the productivity of that canal. Okay. And it goes bone dry in summer, which means after that it loses its life.
So aren't these identified rural works which will increase productivity and value? Aren't they all identified works with...
No, they are hunting for a work. See, the implementers...
Or is it like the I think, was it Allahabad or Lucknow, where the Nawab had, to save people during a bad drought year, told them every night you build this, and at night they used to go and break it down. Next morning they rebuild the same thing, next night knock it down.
Yeah, it's something similar, but I think it's much worse for the simple reason that it's a ripple effect on wage markets, labor sharing system, productivity has hurt only one person.
The farmer.
The farmer.
For whom all this was devised in the first place, to help it.
It was supposed to be for the landless,
rural poor. But it destroyed the farmer, basically.
It has destroyed the rural poor also. I will tell you how. Now, because you created this kind of a inflationary effect on wages.
Okay.
Today in villages also, vehicles carry vegetables into the village. It was unheard of 10 years back.
Which used to come either by pulling by hand.
No, they grew it and enjoyed the fruits. Now nobody wants to grow anything in their village. So there is somebody else who is a larger player.
Making it somewhere else.
Somewhere else and sending it across in Tata Aces. It's really a tragic thing.
Okay. And nobody foresaw all this? I mean, we have had years of MNREGA.
See, NREGA is seen as a kind of a vote bank enhancing tool.
Okay.
So basically, you are trying to divide society according to
have the farmers not been told the effects of this scheme? He
doesn't have a voice. You talk to any farmer.
No, I agree. He doesn't have a voice. But let's say the Communist Party, which is supposed to always work on behalf of the poor, landless labor, etc. Don't they go and educate them on these unseen, hidden problems that only somebody like you know? I mean, it's not known to me either.
No, to a Communist Party, what is their interest? They are only interested in organized labor. Farm labor is not organized labor. They could give them another 50 years, they cannot make a constituency out of farm labor. Whereas they can easily make a constituency out of factory labor. So they would never be interested. A Communist Party is interested in going to an information technology company where there are thousands of people because it is already
organized,
easy to organize. But they would not go village to village. Except in some pockets.
So we can't blame this thing on the communists, for example. I mean, we should say that they are responsible for having created this.
Well, they are happy to take the credit for it, but I think it's a combination of the communists and the Congress. It was UPA 1 basically.
That started this and made a complete mess of it.
Yes.
What's your quick fix on it? Is there a quick fix?
See, quick fix would be that you bring productivity.
So that measurement tools has to be put in place.
Yes, very strong productivity tools have to come. And if you make it connected, then people will go back to labor sharing. They will not need this.
They'll say, I'm not going to make roads and bunds. I'll go back to my farm and work properly.
So, yeah, if you must have a higher productivity norm. Just because you're giving employment doesn't mean that you should compromise on productivity norms. It's again tax-paid money. See, the point I'm trying to say is that unless you fix NREGA, you cannot fix rural inflation.
So, that's it. It generally sounds like bad news. We don't know when they will get around to it. But somebody ought to go and tell the rural folks also that NREGA isn't what it looks like at first glance. There are much deeper implications. Thank you very much, Shyam. More to come, as we say. And yes, one more thing which I forgot during the course of the interview. What is BT? We talk about BT all the time. BT brinjal, BT cotton. BT is not, it doesn't stand for anything like biotech or anything like that. It's the name of a bacteria. And the correct full form of BT is Bacillus thuringiensis. Thuringiensis, I don't know what it means, but it's a naturally occurring bacteria which creates some chemical that repels pests. So if you get some funny insects crawling around on it, this BT will actually kill those pests. So if it is happening naturally, it's a naturally forming thing. It's not something put onto it like a chemical spray. That is the speciality of BT seeds, that they come with that inbuilt protection. And if that is used in our country, so you can imagine, we don't need to use pesticides. The farmers will have to use less chemicals to kill off the pests. And so the overall cost will come down, the farmer will be more profitable in his venture, etc., etc. So that's BT.